Hi, this is Omar at Top 5 E-Bikes, and thank you for watching this review. This is a full review of the $699 Eunorau Z1. Eunorau was gracious enough to provide a 5% off coupon for Top 5 E-Bikes, so after this discount, your price will be around $665. If after watching this video you like our content, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel. And as always, thanks for watching. This video review is not sponsored in any way by Eunorau, but there are affiliate links in the description. If you find this review helpful and you end up purchasing this bike, you can help support Top 5 E-Bikes by using the affiliate link in the description. Thanks. Alright, so now let's get to the review. The review will include 4 main parts. We'll go over the specs, the unboxing and assembly, a road test which will include a range test, and final thoughts, where we'll give you the pros and cons of this e-bike according to Top 5 E-Bikes. Before we start the actual review, I wanted to share why I'm reviewing this bike in the first place, especially considering that I've posted on Reddit saying that e-bikes under $600 are complete crap. I now realize that there are certain situations where these e-bikes could be a good fit. So I also wondered, does this e-bike actually fit in my car? And you can see here in the video that it actually does fit in my Tesla. So kind of a side note, but I did want to share that cool note. Alright, so let's go over the specs of this e-bike. The Z1 e-bike is made by Eunorau, and it costs $699, at least that's what it says on the website. They did provide a 5% off promo code for Top 5 E-Bikes, as you can see here. So you can end up getting it for $665, and that does include shipping. You may not actually recognize the name Eunorau, but they've actually been making e-bikes for quite a while. So they've white labeled, they've done drop shipping. So this is just their direct-to-consumer brand, so their actual name. They do have a U.S. warehouse, which is super nice to have U.S.-based support, and they offer a 2-year warranty with this particular e-bike. The Z1 weighs 50 pounds and has foldable handlebars, so it's very compact. It comes in 3 colors, in black, red, and the white that we ordered. Every so often, Eunorau does have coupon codes that are actually larger than the 5% that we got, so just keep an eye on that if you do want to end up buying this bike. It comes with an LCD screen, which is pretty simple, but it's still an LCD screen. Leather grips. It has a workable bell, 6-speed Shimano shifters, and a couple of cool features that are included, like the cruise control function for the throttle. You get integrated lights with this e-bike, both the front and the back. You also have Kenda 20-inch tires and 160mm rotors on the front and the back of this bike. And it also comes with a motor cutoff sensor, which is a cool feature, especially for a low-price e-bike. One of the few lower-end components on this bike, or at least the components that you could see, are the pedals, which are plastic pedals, and you can see those here in this part of the video. The battery is a small battery, so it's a 36-volt, 6.6 amp hour battery, so it's pretty small, but this is actually pretty good considering the price. On a side note, for an e-bike of such a low price, this battery has to be on the lower end quality wise, so keep this in mind as you're considering this e-bike. The Z1 does come with fenders and a rack, so I wouldn't put much weight on this rack, but it's kind of nice to have both of these since this isn't something that's typically thrown in at this price range. Finally, let's talk about the motor. It's a 250 watt motor, which is by far the smallest motor that we've tested here at Top 5 E-Bikes. I was actually quite impressed with the motor because I had such low expectations of the motor and of this bike in general. Now that we reviewed some of the specs of the Z1, let's review our experience unboxing and assembling this e-bike. I mean, what can I say? It's for sure the simplest assembly I've done. This e-bike came in great shape and was packaged well. The delivery took 3 business days, so it was also super quick to be delivered to my house. We'll spare you having to go through all the assembly. I do have some commentary right after I was done assembling the bike. So I just got done unboxing and assembling the Eunorau Z1, and it was super easy. It took about 4 minutes total, and that's because I was actually trying to adjust the bell on the handlebars, but it probably would have taken 3 minutes. Really, the only thing I had to do was I had to put on the pedals, which didn't take too long. That took about a minute. Put on the seat, which took about another minute. And the actual handlebars were assembled, which normally with most bikes, you have to assemble the handlebars or do some type of, assembly there. This was actually done. It was just unhooked, so I just had to adjust it. But yeah, this is actually fully assembled. The battery actually turned on. I just turned on the bike and it turned on. I haven't charged it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out for a ride. I'm actually going to ride it over the next couple days so we can get a full throttle test and then also a pedal assist test. But so far it looks really good. I'm actually pretty excited about this bike because it's a lighter bike. It's a small bike. We typically haven't reviewed any smaller bikes at Top 5 e-bikes. We've reviewed more of like cruisers. We've also reviewed commuter bikes, and we're about to start reviewing a couple single speed belt drive bikes. So this is the first foldable smaller bike that we've actually tested. So I'm pretty excited about that. So stay tuned. I'm going to start taking this for a ride. I'm going to take it for a quick spin here in my neighborhood. Then we're going to charge it up, and over the next few days I'm actually going to ride it and give you more details, and so I can give you more information about how I feel about the bike. So thanks for watching. Continue watching because we'll have more information. Thanks. Now let's talk about the fun stuff, which are the test rides. I rode this bike for about 40 miles, which is actually a little bit less than most bikes that we test, but that had to do with the lower range on the battery. In general, I was getting around speeds of 14 miles per hour, but I did get up to 21 and 22 miles per hour with the pedal assist. Going uphill was obviously a little bit slower, but I was still able to go 8 to 9 miles per hour. There are no shocks on the bike, so it's a little bit rigid, but it's not terrible since you're supposed to be riding this on the street anyways. The seat is not the most comfortable, but it's a little bit more comfortable than, say, the Rad Mission seat. But what I really liked was the throttle cruise control, since that was the first time I'd come across this on a bike. Like I showed earlier, the bike is very compact, so it's possible to fit in the trunk of a Tesla or a Civic, and it's easy to store, say, in the back of a room. When it comes to the wrench test, we did a full charge. I rode the Z1 with pedal assist only, and I was able to actually get 15 miles out of the charge. So Eunorau says 20. I was able to get 15. Maybe it has to do with my weight, the wind. There's so many factors there, but it's a pretty good range for a smaller bike. If you were to only use throttle, which I did, the range that I got was actually 6 miles, which is very short, but it's a small battery, so it's not bad considering. If you made it this far in our video, thanks for sticking with us. And what I'm going to go over now are the final thoughts. So I'm going to go over the pros, the cons, and just some final thoughts about this bike, about the Z1. So I'll start off with what we liked or what I liked. I really like the price. Who doesn't like that price? So at $699, and if you get a 5% discount like the one that we have, that you're able to get through Top 5 e-bikes, then you can get it to $665. Potentially you can even find it maybe even a little bit lower depending on what kind of sales they have at Eunorau. So the price is definitely one of the things that we liked about this bike. One of the other things we liked was the compactness of it. So it's not as small as, say, like a toy bike or one of these bikes that you see at Costco, say, for $300. So it's not that small, and it's definitely not 100% a folding bike, but it partially folds, and it's just a small bike in general. And so I was able to fit it actually in a few cars. I was able to fit it, and I put this in the video, in a Tesla. I was able to fit it in a Civic, and then also in a mid-size SUV, just folding the seats down. So, and it's a lighter bike. It's about 50 pounds with the batteries, which is less than your typical e-bike, which are 60 to 70 pounds. And then finally, the other thing I liked were it actually has like decent components. So the type of components that you see on this bike, even though it's a lower end Shimano, even though it's a Kenda tires, like some of the stuff that you see, the type of components that you see on this bike, you see the same type of components, maybe a little bit upgraded in $1,000-$1,200 bike or so. So these are actual like parts that are used for other bikes. And so they didn't really skimp out on at least most of the components of the bike. So those are the main things that I liked. As far as things I didn't like about the bike, the range is low. We knew that going into it just because of the size of the battery. It's a really small battery. There is an option to buy an additional battery for the e-bike for $250. We got just the basic version. So that was probably the biggest negative. Also, in terms of the battery, it's a no-name battery. And this is something that I went back and forth on Reddit with a couple people, and there was a couple people, I'll have to reference and put this in the description, but there was one person in particular who was really helpful in just describing batteries and why you should be concerned about a lower end battery. In this particular case, it's a no-name battery, so I would suggest that if you're going to buy this bike, that you really follow the directions in terms of how long you're supposed to charge it and how many hours and whatnot. So that's definitely one of the negatives in this bike is the range, no-name battery. And then the last thing is that I wish they would have made the bike 100% foldable. It's almost like it's like half foldable. It's fine. It was able to fit in, if you put the seats down in a car, but if you were able to fold this bike 100%, then it would be so much cooler, I would think. So, yeah, those are the things that we didn't like. And then I'll move on to the final thoughts, my final thoughts about this bike. I mean, is this e-bike amazing? Not even close. Is it better than the electric XP? I doubt that you're going to find anyone that's going to say, hey, this bike is actually better than the electric XP, which is a pretty popular e-bike, under $1,000. I guess another question would be, is a DIY better? Probably, although you'll need to build it, and someone like myself would never build a DIY bike, so I would just buy something that was built. So if you're if you're someone who's not going to build a bike, and you're looking for a lower end budget bike, this is probably a good bike. So I could see this being for this bike being good for someone that's obviously looking for a bike that's under $700 and that also has a short commute. So you're probably looking at a commute of 5 to 6 miles max each way. Likely someone that has limited space in their home to store this bike. So all these, if you fit in this category, then this type of bike would actually be good for you. I mean, except for the battery, most of the components on this e-bike are some of the same brands that you see on more expensive e-bikes. So again, this is one of the positives. Also, Eunorau has been around for a while, and they have a 2-year warranty. So I would say that that's another positive here in this for this particular e-bike. I mean, all in all, depending on your circumstances, we think that this could be a good bike. So I'll just end it that way. Again, this isn't the best bike in the world, and we're not sitting here saying that it's an amazing bike, but depending on your circumstances, this could be a good bike for you, and that's what we think. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review. You can add any comments or questions you have in the comment section of this video, and we'll try to answer the questions. So thanks. If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment, visit us at top5ebikes.com or some of our social media accounts. Thank you.